Bit of a tough time fighting into them with the Ravage, with the Radiance. But if they make it past that, I really do like Navi's chances here. So I do agree with the panel for once in my life. I do like Navi's draft here.
All right. Well, Navi have looked pretty good so far this tournament. They did get 2-0'd by Secret, but in a very competitive series. And I think a lot of their strength has come from their drafts. Like they had a 10th pick Brood game, and they really set themselves up for success with some of their hero picks, as we've seen. And also the odds, the GGBet odds coming in the series, favoring them somewhat slightly. I think it was like 1.5 to 2.4. So the fans at home, the betting seems to favor Navi as well.
Yeah, NIP is no pushover, though. They've been looking pretty good themselves. Yep. They did get kind of ran over by Secret, but who hasn't, really? Yes. As we see a wraparound on Crystallized to start the game off. Maybe just going to take the outpost. Looks like he's fully aware what's going on. The arrow!
Oh, nice dodge. Doesn't look like Blizzy wants to level Gush either.
Yeah, he was trying to use the tree fog to catch off the PL without him being able to see the arrow coming. But there's that little crevice that he had vision of. And has a Basilius on Marana, so he'll be able to toss out all types of arrows. And I don't think you take Gush against PL. Any carry that can reliably just trade an ability for it, which is, in this case, the Doppelganger. It's just an expensive mana spell. You really only level it against, like, the Monkey Kings, the Morphlings, these heroes that you gush them and run them down.
Oh, BPD. Was he trying to do that, or was he
griefing.
going for a courier, or he was just griefing?
I believe in the words of Artur. Peter, what are you doing, man?
My lane.
Yeah.
Where are my creeps, Peter?
Weird start already, but right on pace with like what we've been seeing so far this tournament.
That's one of those things you do in a pub game. Mid lane is getting on the mic and yelling and threatening to go down mid because that one small thing just ruined their lane. They're going to lose the game because of that, Brian.
It definitely changes their lane, and they're like, I've never been in this exact scenario before. That means it's bad. Change good, or change bad, normal good. As looks like he did take the early point to Assimilate, as Cap was talking about, against the Queen of Pain middle, and Queen of Pain actually elected to just take Scream anyway, assuming that he was going to do just that. Looks like both heroes are very familiar with the matchup. And then elects to take a point in the Shadow Strike. And Tanner's already used Assimilate. So let's look at the cooldowns here. 20 seconds on Assimilate and 16 on Shadow Strike. So I'm sure both these players are very aware of this dynamic. And we'll have to keep it in mind.
He's trying to bait it out.
Oh, he gets him.
Dodges it.
No, he got him.
Oh, he got him. Yeah. Oh, wow. He got him just before the Assimilate. Nicely played. Annoying stuff.
Yeah, Tanner lives in the UK. He's on like 10 ping. There's no excuse there.
Oh, the servers are over in like Luxembourg, though, right? You know, that's
maybe it's 15.
It's across the ocean.
True, that is true.
Exactly, 15, maybe 20, even. Who knows?
Peter actually goes for the point in Voodoo Restoration top.
Oh wow, this
That's
is the like old school 5-position Witch Doctor play. I feel like normally this hero is being picked for the offensive prowess with the Cask and Maledict. Why do you think Voodoo here?
He went for the Bassi, and he's just against Phoenix. I think that's really just going to pretty much negate all of Slayer's damage in the early game. It's all very slow damage. And even Centaur, I guess he has stun, but they don't have like a threat on you if you're full health. Like if Peter and Dahak are full health, I don't really see how Navi's dual lane does anything. So instead of the headdress meta, he's gone for the Basilius Voodoo Restoration meta, which makes sense. You know, it's its own take on the same thing.
I think speaking of grief in the mid lane, I believe Miranda just arrowed a ranged creep.
Tanner is losing it. Look at that. He's like, I'm only winning by 1 CS right now. I'd be winning by twice as much if you didn't do that.
That's the classic. If you're throwing an arrow at mid, you aim for the hero, but make sure if it misses, you get the range.
That is the Yapsor special for sure. As we see Blizzy getting gone on by that Inkswell bottom. He did get the Anchor Smash off on Crystallized beforehand, so pretty much negating majority of that damage. This is the ideal Tidehunter lane. The other day we saw Tidehunter against Monkey King in lane. In that lane, you have the level Gush, and you have to play far back. In this lane, you just go for the points in Kraken Shell as well as Anchor Smash, and you're just chilling. 16 CS to the 13 of PL, and you're happy about that.
We're seeing here Blizzy able to shrug off most of his damage. You agree with what the panel said, though, where this matchup will still favor the PL in the mid to late game with the
diffuse is super annoying.
Yeah.
I really like going like Grieve Shivas on Tidehunter, specifically against Phantom Lancer. He's probably going to have to get the pipe for his team, but Greaves to solve your own mana problems, so you can like Greaves Ravage, and then on top of that you also have the Shivas, which gives you more mana pool to work with, and it also slows down the attack speed of the PL so that you don't lose your mana as quickly. It's just annoying. But if he goes for the Soaring Greaves, he does have the Phase Boots queued up, though, so it looks like he just doesn't agree with me on the Greaves. I'm a big fan of Greaves against PL, and it could be coming from Mirana, but we'll have to just see what they choose to do here.
We'll have a, I guess, stronger laning stage with the Phase Boots.
That's usually what you do it for, yeah. And I guess against the Inkswell, he thinks he needs that extra bit of movement speed, as Milan almost gets sniped bottom, only lives because of that raindrop.
Yeah.
I don't think Ilias was prepared for that, actually. I thought he was going to get him killed. I think he thought he was going to get the kill there.
Does give Crystallize a bit of freedom in that bottom lane while they're chasing around the support, but back at mid lane, Tanner was in a bit of a rough time. He had to go back to Fountain and then TP back in a lane, then instantly getting harassed once again by Magical with this Arcane
3
Rune.
points Shadow Strike.
Oh my gosh. Tanner may just die if he's not careful. He's got the Fairy Fire, has the bottle charges, which he can use between ticks, but if Magical gets a blink Shadow Strike in again.
That's the next level play, as we see bottom. I'll elaborate on that in a second. So the idea is if you have this ability to dodge Dagger, you just don't level Dagger. But he's realized that dissimulates 20 seconds, so his option is he's opted to then max the Dagger such that it's such a low cooldown, he can't dodge all the daggers. As bottom lane, we do see... Okay, Crystallize almost got gushed into arrow there, but he does doppelganger dodge it. And Blizzy is out-leveling him here and out-CSing him. Number 1 on the CS charts. I think Tidehunter's one of the best heroes in the offlane when given a start like this. We saw him a lot at TI from teams like the old Team Liquid, now Team Nigma, and if the only reason he's not picked right now is because first off, Diffusal's really popular for all the reasons the panel is saying it's really annoying to get your mana burn, but also because most of his lane matchups are pretty bad. But PL specifically quite good for Tidehunter, so I do see why they went for this last pick. And he's just chilling with that Soul Ring raindrops. He is already out of raindrop charges.
Yeah. Seems like the Grimstroke's just happy to keep spamming and make him essentially, quote-unquote, waste his gold. Obviously, you're
I
able
serve
to
it as
stand lane.
regen. It gives you a little bit of mana regen in the time, but it's also just like a tango every time they proc it, right? You saved 100 health.
Yep.
And also, both offlaners doing real well for themselves. Centaur out-leveling the Wraith King top, but Wraith King does have the same CS. Pasha goes for the Ring of Tarask. The Bracer just tanking up a bit. Looks like everyone's getting theirs this game.
Yeah, pretty slow, farm-intensive early game. Perhaps the one swing is the mid lane where Queen of Pain is having a fantastic time with the 33-11. And First Blood going to come out. Grimstroke in the bottom, going down. The Mirana now trying to escape here. Milan being chased down by the PL Illusions, which are not going to threaten his life. But who do you think this favors? This kind of slow, uneventful laning stage? Is this
I think everyone getting theirs is actually NIP favored because their timing is going to be earlier with the Wraith King plus Tidehunter. Like Void Spirit's going to do his job. He's not getting crushed. He's not winning, but he still has a game. And so I think this overall favors them, but by no means am I upset about the current events if I'm Navi. Invis Rune popped by Tanner here. Yep. Will he elect to do anything, or is he just going to use this to get a last hit? That's my kind of man. Invis Rune for the extra last hit with no harass.
Stampede. Top. Yep. Back at top. Pasha's going to use this to get a stun in, and it's the first rotation coming in from Magical. The Huck going to go down. No level 6 on him, nor would he necessarily want to use it. And that's what Na'Vi can use this good early game of the Queen of Pain for, which is to start rotating to these side lanes and finding these kills.
Yeah, now that Wraith King gets killed, he's not even close to level 6. Crystallize is level 6, so he can start dipping in and out of the lane. It's going to accelerate his farm in comparison quite fast. Wraith King, one of the few heroes that doesn't actually need his ultimate in order to farm, but every bit of levels matters when you're getting free damage from your crit as well as your vampiric aura.
Oh, blink in, the arrow not going to land, and the rune going to spawn bottom. It's a regen rune. They threw out the Sonic Wave, which only gets him down to half HP. Magical gets some backup from the Grimstroke here, who gets a nice Inkswell sun, but it's still going to be the death of the Queen of Pain. Magical, odd. With a very aggressive blink in, did not have vision of the high ground, had no idea Milan was there, I guess. And the regen rune will be denied.
Peter's very high level on Witch Doctor, though. 5-position Witch Doctor, almost level 5.5 already. While Milan's only level 4, so he'll probably be getting the Tome. As Blizzy's also level 7. Yeah, both offlaners very happy here. Wraith King is still #1 net worth, though, despite that death top. Did just get overtaken by Centaur, but either way, like, look at the discrepancy between the 6 cores is from highest to lowest is only 700 gold.
Yep. You can see, I mean, the net worth difference, less than 1k gold separating the two team, and it is very much an even Stevens kind of early game where yet to see that one team pull ahead. The Queen of Pain was off to that great start, and with the rotation early on was looking like Magical could take over a bit. Did give up his life going for that rune, so...
Peter does get the Maledict off.
Here comes the Queen of Pain with a Blink Scream. Peter should be going down here. 1 or 2 more right clicks will be enough. And with the PL here, it's Crystallize able to join in as well, but Magical getting the last hit for the kill.
They really can't deal with this PL, like, even this early, unless he overcommits. Like, when there's any skirmishes with 1 or 2 NIP heroes there, they just have no way to deal with them. He has to get, like, ravaged into, burst it down to half so his illusions can't duplicate anymore.
We'll see what happens with these 10-minute runes and outposts as Na'Vi take
both so
control
far
of the top one, but doesn't look like they'll be able to maintain the bottom. NIP swooping on in, and should be a 2-for-2 rune split as well, I would imagine. Both teams taking control of one side of the map. Na'Vi already taking the top tier 1 while still keeping their bottom tier 1 alive. Phoenix doing a good job of just sitting down there, leeching XP, throwing up Fire Spirits, and keeping his tower alive as long as possible. He goes for the TP out. He managed to get out.
Faced it the
barely.
wrong way. What are you doing? Look down. Look south.
Turn. Turn.
What if you could turn it after? That'd be pretty cool.
Make that like a talon or something.
Yeah, turn it.
You can control it after planning it with a like a level 10 or level 15 talon. So, Dahak does have the maxed out Vampiric Aura, making everybody hit pretty hard bottom. 24 bonus damage for everyone, but does elect to just let his teammates take the tower, as he does get the Faded Brooch. Probably the best neutral item on Wraith King when he goes for the treads, because his only limitation for farm speed is simply getting to the actual camp itself to farm. And sometimes you want like the Iron Talon to kill the bigger creeps faster, but in this case, Faded Brooch is quite nice. Here come NIP with the Moonlight Shadow Initiation. Na'Vi
Big
did
tower's
not
dying.
see this. Tower getting very low. The cast into a Maledict with an arrow to fold up, and the Queen of Pain and Magical gets bursted. They did a good job hiding everyone on the map when Moonlight Shadow was used, I believe. I don't think Wraith King was showing bottom.
No, he was, I believe he let his skeleton show. I will say, if you're going to push mid-tower against a Mirana, I think it's just sloppy to not have a sentry down. I think, even though that was very well executed in terms of ability usage from NIP, I do think Na'Vi should always have a sentry there.
Yeah. Especially if 5 heroes are missing on the map, you should just be blinking out right away, I feel. Like, that's like a, oh, they could be Moonlight
There's
Shadow.
several people that could be at fault for what just happened there, and I think that means there's several ways you could have fixed it.
Yeah. And this continues to hack on the Wraith King, continues to free farm away. Has that relic queued up, so we'll be seeing no armlet, just straight good old-fashioned Radiance. And he's going to say, I've had enough of this bottom lane, time to go farm and push out this top lane.
Yeah, Wraith King's a great dead lane farmer as a carry, just because you don't want to gank him, really. And he can leave his skeletons to keep pushing out the next wave. He almost gets a bonus wave. A lot of heroes don't want to walk, and like they want to stay underneath their tier 2 like he's doing. And once he clears this wave, he's just going to leave. And with Wraith King, your skeleton's going to go clear an extra wave for you, which buys your team an extra 30 seconds, because every creep wave spawns every 30 seconds. So that's the way you want to think about it. You're buying your team time to do whatever they want on the map. Void Spirit takes a luxurious farm in the mid lane, or kind of the dangerous farm. Like, you could be ganked in the mid lane, but he's very mobile. And then on the other hand, you have Marlon and Blizzy just farming it up in the jungle. As it looks like they're looking to farm this Ancient together. 3-man Ancient farm.
Casual.
A little bit odd there, I'd say, but
No, they had
nothing better to do, looks like.
yeah, nothing better to do, and hey, take the farm away from Na'Vi for now, although we'll be respawning fairly soon. They'll just keep on farming it, of course.
Ooh, nice D-ward, Milius. I don't know if they saw that or they just assume there's a defensive ward, because if your carry's a carry that's going to farm around your own jungle like Wraith King is, usually the wards are going to be based on where your carry likes to farm. And in this case, I'm surprised Na'Vi hasn't established ward vision up top, because PL is the type of carrier that wants to play on the opponent's side of the map, which they now do. So you can learn a lot about where certain carries like to play certain parts of the map based on where their team wards, based on where they play. There are just certain parts of the map that favor every single carry in terms of their farming patterns. It's something for people who are looking to get better at Dota can definitely pay attention to. It is very consistent from game to game on the same hero. They are putting a little bit of pressure on mid, but looks like we have an era of peace. Every time I see a Wraith King, we can make puns about the era of peace for the king, but that's what I see every game. Seems like there's just this window of we don't have Radiance yet, but it's also hard to kill Wraith King, and both teams just do nothing.
And often the laning stage will be a bit more aggressive or bloody on either side, since Wraith King does have a kind of weak laning stage if pressured. But yeah, this game he didn't even have that weak laning stage.
As we see the move up top.
Gonna get jump, pull back in. And one more Astral Step should be enough to get this kill, or maybe he's just going to get the right click off.
He doesn't have Astral for 20 seconds. Gets juked.
Whoa.
Okay, uses a scout. He finds him. Yeah. Lost that extra raindrop charge value for Tanner there. That's 24 or 45 gold of economical damage or something. 35.
But Na'Vi have pulled ahead, Brian. They've managed to muster up a huge lead.
Almost the 1,000 mark.
Yes. Insurmountable, some might say.
Oh, it's back on the IP side.
Oh,
they're winning now.
That 50 gold lead.
Is that actually what it is?
It's never been over 500 gold, or maybe it was slightly over 500.
Okay, it was in triple digits twice this game, one each side.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. And they were very brief moments.
Neck and neck as far as the farm battle goes, and just a random kill here or there. Bounty Rune's coming up. This could swing the battle. Oh, he doppelgangers the Ravage. Crystallize was ready for it, reacted. And now they're going to look to retaliate here. Pasha comes charging in, gets the hoof stomp off. The arrow going to land on him as well. Can the PL do the damage they need to bring down the Void Spirit? Doesn't look like it. And Tanner's just going to jump his way out of there. So no harm, no foul.
Oddly enough, despite this being like a first-round Void Spirit pick, they don't have any instant disables for him to just have to be reliably locked down by.
He's coming with the Sonic Wave, but
Wraith King's just farming bottom while this is all going on.
Yeah, without the stuns, it's not easy to punish this. Magical does have an Orchid queued up for that very reason, so he's going to try and at least force the Void Spirit to go for a defensive item here. They go in with the Sonic Wave. Tanner survives on a sliver of health here. He does still have the poison on the
deny him. Oh my, I think he might have lived if Milan hadn't hit him there.
With the Voodoo Restoration.
Yeah, Voodoo Restoration, 6 stick charges.
Oh, he 6 charges too, wow.
Well, at that point, once you right-click him once, you definitely just let him, you just got to commit there. You would hate to right-click him once and then have him die.
Oh my. NIP making a bit of a folly.
If you did that in a pub, you'd definitely be reported in low prio almost instantly.
Yep. I saw a nice clip of Arteezy being griefed by his teammates today, doing just that.
They were denying him underneath the effect of a denial?
They won a team fight. Like, they team wiped the enemy, and he had Shadow Strike and like 150 health. And
just everyone hit him?
Puck in his team was just, no, it was just the one player just hitting him when he's gonna like definitely.
Hey, you got to get those. You got to get that internet fame, whatever it is. Everyone needs their 10 minutes.
That clout.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, that guy can be like, look, I killed Arteezy when he was on my team. That's going on his memoirs.
Indeed. Accomplishments of his career. As we have the Dragon Scale and Wraith King. That's actually really nice when he only has treads.
Okay.
It basically doubles his armor, gives him some more tower damage. And they seem to be forcing the issue with no Ravage. This is a bit odd to me, even though they have Radiance.
I guess Na'Vi committed one ultimate in the Sonic Wave, but here we go. The big fight's going to come out. The Sunray just trying to keep the Na'Vi side alive. Tanner does not have the damage to burst off anyone. Does manage to finally break down the Grimstroke, but Pasha's found a return kill.
Ravage in 20.
These poor supports just suffering.
All of them are dusted.
Yeah. The Shadow Strike full up. Milan
deny him! Return the favor!
Yeah, get him, Tanner.
He
got hit by a Fire Spirit. He might actually... Oh, no, he's got health. He's fine. Or is he? Yeah, he's fine.
Deny him anyway.
I believe Void Spirit going for an Aghanim Scepter first. Was that right?
I do see that.
Is this,
he's going to have absolutely no way to get out of that Orchid.
Yeah, is this something that is an answer to the PL? What's the idea with the...
kind of. I do believe so. My issue is that I think Yules is really good this game. You don't have all that much setup stun. Your only stun is Wraith King, and he's farming. So it also makes it so that the only way they ever kill you is removed. Yep. Like, if you really look at their lineup, the only natural way they could ever build to itemize against you is Orchid. So I personally think Yules was way better, but I'm also not a Void Spirit player. It's kind of like a general concept of this helps protect me and it helps me be aggressive on the map. That would be the better item. But I think they're scared of this PL problem. Maybe they're overreacting a bit. Maybe they need all these items to deal with him. We'll just have to see how it plays out. If he does die once to the Orchid with no Yules, I would say this Ag Scepter is a mistake.
We'll see the gold lead remain under 1,000 as it's been this entire game.
They are going the Greaves on Mirana. So they elect to do that on her rather than the Tidehunter. I'm fine with that.
And even the win probability, ever so slightly above 50% for NIP, who do still have this free farming Wraith King. Radiance complete. Looks like BKB queued up second, so looking to be able to fight soon. Often as a Wraith King, you have to wait till like you're level 20 before you can fight into a PL for your no mana reincarnation type. With a BKB, you can actually fight before then. And NIP may be threatening to go high ground even.
They do have Ravage, but all abilities for Na'Vi are up. I think they're just trying to force them back. I don't think they're actually trying to take a fight here.
And Na'Vi occupying the NIP woods here, so with some TPs back, NIP may just back off.
That's good enough for them. I think they see 4 heroes. Get out of here. There you go. Very nice. Queen of Pain, disciplined enough to not come back to base. Still farming top.
Feels like until she has a BKB, she's going to struggle to fight into this Tide Ravage and all the other stuns flying around.
Yeah, for sure. This is a very natural movement coming out from both sides. So you force them back to their base, which means they're all bottom, which means you naturally migrate to the top half of the map on NIP. They don't want to be bottom, though. That's the dead lane. So Na'Vi says, okay, we need to get back onto our side of the map that we want to play around the rows, around the top half. So we're going to smoke there because we know NIP has gone there. Very natural flow of events here as, well, they are smoked.
Double outpost for Dire, too. Na'Vi couldn't get up there quick enough. The Blink Hoof's not going to be dodged by the leap. Ravage comes out as well with an arrow follow-up. A perfect set. They're going to be able to burst down the PL. Disaster for Na'Vi. Although they do find Tanner elsewhere, so maybe not as bad as it first looked with the Orchid. You mentioned it. If he dies once, the Orchid.
I already think it's worth it.
Yep.
They're already bad, depending on what side you're looking at.
I mean, the Orchid, yeah, definitely worth it, but questionable. Maybe Aghanim Scepter Rush as Na'Vi lead the charge in. The Soulbind going to leash 2 together here. The Sonic Wave perfect on the 4 heroes. Na'Vi, with the refresh Phoenix spells, are diving in forward, slowing them all down. Blizzy does manage to crack off the slow, though. It does look like NIP may be able to, well, maybe not get out anymore. Mirana needs to juke around these streets, gets caught by a Blink Hoof Stomper with the Orchid on her. She could not leap away, but Pasha may have overcommitted here. The Wraith King with the Radiance just holding his ground, trying to bring down Pasha, but he gets away just barely to Huck.
That bracer, or the Van Brace value.
Yep.
Barely living their extra magic resistance, that extra 10 strength. The dream.
Still not much separating these two teams as Wraith King keeps his position on the top of the charts, but 3 Radiant heroes behind him.
He did have a DD on Tanner, and it's probably going to pop itself soon here. He really needs either a BKB or a Yules. I just can't imagine he goes any other direction, as apparently this era of peace, the people at home have decided favors Na'Vi heavily. I don't know about that. I'm not saying they're not favored now, since PL's getting his items, and all 3 cores on Na'Vi are above the other 2 cores of NIP, but to say it's that favored, I'm a bit skeptical.
I mean, the odds generally thought Na'Vi had the edge, so maybe it's somewhat based on just the faith in the team as a whole, whereas NIP obviously playing with a couple of stand-ins.
True.
I know the panel liked how Na'Vi's draft could fare with the mana burn against the Tidehunter, making his game very difficult. And once this PL gets a few items, you can definitely be a huge nuisance to some of these Dire heroes.
He is queuing up the Blink on Tide, and he is queuing up the Yules on Tanner. I'm just going to read into this and say I think their timings are just a tad off. Like, they needed the ability to make plays at this stage in the game, and honestly, without Yules, the only way they kill this PL is Ravage, as he is trying to make a play bottom with the Ag Silence. Would have maybe paid for itself there, but Tanner just being a bit too pubby, almost, it feels like. He's just kind of going for solo kills when unnecessary.
There's going to be a stuns. Remnant pull back onto the Phoenix, who gets taken out. The arrow almost caught Crystallizes PL there. That would have been very close. As NIP take over this right side of the map. Very few kills this game. 6 kills to 7 only. It has been a peaceful farming game for the most part.
Average of Wraith King, that seemed a bit low for the average net worth of Wraith Kings. I feel like most Wraith Kings are pretty high, but maybe there were some puppy 5-position Wraith Kings plugged in there.
Once upon a time, this hero did function as a support.
Crazy how that full swing comes into effect, huh?
Like 4 or 5 years ago, this hero was like only played as like a 4-position / 5 position.
Remember that like one patch he had the crit that swapped his health with yours or whatever?
Yeah,
that gave you 20%. Yeah. Good times.
That was a good spell.
It was like, here's 20% of your max health as damage.
Before that, I mean, they were like, let's make up for this hero just having 2 boring passives.
Yeah.
And give him something that's OP.
That lasted for a whole month. Yep. As Philosopher's Stone on Peter, so free wards forever. They do have the BKB, as you said, going Blink on Wraith King as well. Yeah, the timings just don't match up to me. As we see top, the silence from Tanner. Navi or Magical with the return silence. The arrow fishes, does not hit, but they find him.
Silence, and with the taunt to follow it up, Tanner brings down Magical. He does not have a defensive item of his own, and it feels like Navi really need this BKB on Queen of Pain.
He gets the 15 talent on Tanner, so that does increase his Resonant Pulse damage by about 50%. That's pretty drastic when you have 2 of them.
And NIP feel confident enough to waltz their way into the Roshan pit with Na'Vi showing multiple heroes down bottom. They are not in position to contest this one, and NIP have great vision set up around this pit.
Queuing up the Maelstrom on Wraith King, so Mjolnir seems to be his item of choice against the Phantom Lancer. They need all they can get. We saw OG the other day that they had no heroes that naturally deal with PL, and guess what? They just built a bunch of items that did, and they ended up taking that game. Will we see somewhat of a repeat? We already have the Radiance. We have the Greaves from Mirana coming out. If they are not already out, yeah, they're coming out soon. And then we have the Mjolnir from Dahak, and I'm expecting a Shiva's, like I said, from Tide at some point, after maybe after this blink.
Okay. Well,
Mindbreaker, tier 3 items coming out.
25-minute mark. There was a Mindbreaker. I saw
Telescope.
Telescope, yep. And
Grimstroke will appreciate that, I'm sure.
Not much else claimed just yet, so we'll see if any of those tier 3 items have a big impact on this game or not. Orb of Destruction. Could be a good PL item, maybe.
It's not bad. M-Claw is so good, though. You probably leave it on M-Claw. The crit applies to all illusions on the first hit, so his whole volley of like 10 illusions just get an extra 30% damage on the first attack, which is really nice burst for the hero.
There's a Moonlight Shadow gank attempt. Not going to find the heroes they were hoping for. Crystallized. Sniffing it out.
They have an illusion and bottom the value. Dahak's like, I'm just going to burn this creep wave. Look at this efficiency as I walk to go pick up this illusion rune.
Don't even waste time right-clicking it. Just want to get that illusion.
Cool guys walk away from explosions or burning creeps. Same thing. Where's that second illusion going? Looks like it's going to go to the top half of the map. Maybe just a D-push top as we see Tanner catching the Grimstroke. Acceptor is paying for itself. I have to envision that it's a good item. I just thought, like, you want to make sure you don't die a single time in the mid-game first, but is paying for itself as well with these pickoffs on heroes that do rely on their abilities to protect themselves, the Grimstroke as well as the Queen of Pain. And this timing push is quite nice for them. They have the Aegis on Tanner. Almost surprised they gave that to him, if you want my honest opinion, because Dahak is not level 20 yet. He doesn't have a reliable second life. Yes, he has the BKB, but I think it would be better if you didn't have to pop the BKB on your first life just to keep your mana. That sounds not ideal. So we'll see if Tanner's able to make good use of that by maybe going into the fight much more aggressively than he originally planned.
Okay.
This is the stage in the game where NIP can deal with PL. He's got Manta Diffusal working on the heart, but they have the double Resonant Pulse, they have the Radiance, and that might just be enough to mitigate his impact in the fight such that maybe they can focus the rest of the team and then deal with the PL later. And looks like Dahak trying to be aggressive top. Yeah. Surmounts to nothing, though.
He's going to prioritize the tower now if he's not going to find the kills. It's a 2k gold lead, so NIP finally pulling ahead by a very small margin. Is that third item, the PL heart, is that go time for Na'Vi? Is that when they suddenly hit their big power spike and are ready to fight?
That is when PL becomes very fight ready. He actually queues up the Satanic, something I was wondering if he might consider with all like the Ravage, the AoE spells, but also against the Radiance. It kind of ticks you down slowly, and Heart doesn't really ever go off in fights, like the extra regen component of it, because you keep getting hit by Radiance. So Satanic is the, hey, you have a Radiance and you're burning me down, but once I get to half, rather than trying to disengage with the Heart, I'm going to man up on you with the Satanic. And he has a lot of spells behind him, like the Egg, as well as the Centaur Stampede, that should be pretty good for him to reliably have a good time in the fight to commit, as he does just randomly pick off a courier in the bottom lane.
That's a decent chunk of gold at this stage of the game.
Yeah, 650.
Yeah, that's like better than a support kill in some ways. As far as your gold here, that's coming in to the bank, and Na'Vi playing a very slow game here. They did finish an Aghanim Scepter on Phoenix, so there's now an added save. And that's going to put even more pressure on this Mirana to really try and snipe this egg in these fights. With the level 2 egg,
Greaves are done. Mirana even has a casual glove of haste. That's actually pretty fascinating. It has to do with the Phoenix, I imagine.
Yeah. I mean, even the Greaves will probably be being held to like purge off a Fire Spirit or something just so you can hit the egg maybe. Could very well see his #1 priority being take out that egg at all costs, especially if there's going to be a second hero inside of it.
They also have the Quickening Charm on Tidehunter, going for a super late Vlad's. They are going to scout. They are going to find 9 Pasha, who does blink, though. Instantly stampedes and panic, has no idea where the rest of NIP is. Obviously, because they are smoked. Tanner does take the top outpost at 29:47, and maybe Magical will be able to snipe it right after they leave, as he'll see them bottom, but no, it's going to be too late. So they get double outpost as well.
And possibly a Phoenix kill. Yep.
Possibly. That looked pretty convincing.
You know, holding our judgment with
true.
how few kills this game. You know, like, is it going to be a kill? Are they going to commit?
Aegis is gone. So that kind of proves to me they should have put it on Dahak so he could just hit buildings better.
Yeah.
I don't think Tanner's going to die with a Yules. I don't really see how they kill him. The only way we talked about their lockdown is the Orchid. So I think that was a bit of a mistake as well. But should be fine. They did manage to turn that Aegis into a 2K net worth lead. But meanwhile, the PL, it's the looming threat. Got the Reaver. Still probably deciding between the Heart and the Satanic. But I already talked about what the approach of both items are. It just comes down to what he thinks will be more relevant during the fights. As he does commit to the Satanic buying that Morbid Mask. And Satanic MKB is his path of choice here. So that's definitely the synergy of manning up. You want to make sure every single attack lands when you are hitting with that Satanic, and you want to make sure you're dishing out as much damage as possible, as Magical serves as the human ward that is also getting the kill. Forced to BKB, though.
Yep. We'll throw out the Sonic Wave just to push him back a bit. And TP his way out. So he takes out PPD with the Arcane Rune. So it's going to be a short cooldown on his Sonic Wave, his BKB, and all those things. But yeah, is forced to use that 10-second BKB. I guess against Tide, you're just looking to like pop the BKB when you go in so you don't get ravaged. So
yeah, you have to. It's too difficult to play around that AoE.
It might not matter if it's a short BKB duration as much. Dodging, Tanner barely escapes. Nice two-man ravage, but they're taking a lot of damage on the dire side. NIP in all sorts of trouble with the Soulbind. That's going to link in 2, and the Tide, he can't use any further spells because of the silence. And now Magical charging forward. This Arcane Rune spelling trouble here, but Tanner with a nice position for his TP out does not get caught. As NIP lose a couple, and we'll see Na'Vi pushing down the mid lane.
They can't win fights if Void Spirit gets gone on. He's like all of their damage. The double Astral Step, the double Resonant Pulse. Like, PL has to be taken down to half or so to have any chance of figuring out which one's real, have any chance of bursting him before the Satanic goes off. And I think Crystallize has realized his options are to go like Heart and then eventually a BKB, because he's going to get hit by that Ravage, or to just tank the Ravage and have that stats resistance, which 30%, let's see, Ravage, how long of a stun is it? 2.6. So you're taking about a second off that stun, which is pretty nice.
He hits his level 20 as well, which is a nice little power spike for PL, having that extra Phantom Rush range.
And the Illusion Rune top, super value. Ooh. Roche is going to be spawning soon, so that's definitely where both teams are going to play around. Radiant does have the natural advantage at this stage in the game, unless the opponent is really far ahead. Dire's goal to take control of the Roche area is to take that triangle, as we talked about on the panel earlier. But if you're only up by, or even, I guess at this point, they're not even up anymore, it's very difficult to do so. And Na'Vi looking to make stuff happen, but look at these lanes. I hope NIP is aware of this, because bottom lane as well as middle lane make this quite obvious.
Basha charging in with the Inkswell stun, but completely off the mark with the Hoof Stomp, but they will still catch out the Witch Doctor. Phoenix gets the egg off here. They need to keep it alive. Mirana tries to leap in and go for the egg, but will not succeed in doing so. Is forced to leap away. Milan survives thanks to the invis here. The egg going to pop off and go into Hack, but he does have a BKB TP, but the Sonic Wave will be enough, and down he goes. Na'Vi pull ahead with a big Wraith King kill.
So that was a smart move, I think, by Na'Vi, because now that I'm thinking about it, the Roche did just start, it's like the first minute of Roche spawning, and NIP knows they're missing. And if NIP just like plays cowardly on the bottom half of the map, and they just happen to do Roche on Na'Vi, you just give it to them for free. So NIP put 3 heroes near the Roche pit in an attempt to be like, okay, if they're here, we're ready. But you only have 3 heroes. So Na'Vi makes a smoke play to the part of the map that they're like, okay, NIP's probably playing here for the exact reason stated, and they catch them out. So a lot goes into why these plays work, and it's just cool to see each team's decision-making. I think NIP was just a bit too sloppy about it. As Nine Pasha, he's beefy. There's one beefy Centaur. He's got the Ag Scepter for his entire team to survive the Ravage even more so. That Satanic Lifesteal becomes even more value because of that damage reduction. Let's see. So the math behind damage reduction, I don't get to talk about this very often. I'm a nerd. So it's 40%. That means instead of 100 damage, you take 60. Which means they have to do that extra 40 damage to do the 100 damage, right? But that 40 damage, you don't take it as 40% extra health. It's 40 out of 60, gods. So you actually have 66% extra health. So PL right now, if they want to burst him during Centaur Ultimate, effectively has 2/3 of that. He has 4,000 health right now. They have to do 4,000 damage during the Centaur Ultimate to kill him.
And here Twitch chat told me NA is bad at math.
We have something going for us. Yep. Maybe I do, at least. I don't know.
You've solved it. Yes. Everyone just needs engineering degrees. As Blizzy showing some engineering himself. Gets a nice Blink Ravage to start the fight, but the follow-up arrow is off the mark. With the Stampede, Slayer's able to dodge the arrow. Does have a Supernova here, which I imagine is going to look to find an opening to get off. He doesn't want to get caught by the Mirana here. He drops the egg now. There's going to be an attempt to focus down the egg. Can they do enough hits on it? Doesn't look like they're going to get it. It's going to be close. I know, it pops. They turn it around. Tanner goes down. Sonic Wave comes out. Dahak needs an X. He's going to BKB, but it wears off, and he dies in the reincarnation. No escape for him. A second death as he comes out.
Oof.
Only PPD. Peter, where are you?
Yeah, they have all the conceptual answers to NIP's lineup.
We'll take another look. It was right as Roche had already been playing.
It's a 3-man Ravage on the supports, too.
Yep. The arrow couldn't land.
The Hawk wasn't in range to follow up with anything.
Yep.
He's their only damage.
And PL, just easiest fight of his life. Just, well, once he could see them, they were a little bit tricky to deal with the Invis, but he finds Milan. And without the Mirana, they could not bring down the egg. They all in on that egg. And even if they killed the egg, Navi's still winning this fight.
They killed the Phoenix. That's about it.
Yeah.
As already top laner Rax gone, middle laner Rax.
14k gold suddenly. No longer the even game.
That's all it takes is 1-1 fight. That's what it felt like to me in the draft for Na'Vi with their lineup comparatively. Is NIP had to win a lot of fights, and Na'Vi had to win just 1 or 2. And you see there, the one fight already turns into 2 lanes of Rax and Aegis. 2 lanes of Rax and Aegis, a 16k net worth lead, and complete map control. Like, this game is cruising as long as they don't do anything too crazy. But they just have the plan in order, right? Like, they realize with this Tidehunter pick, they have to burst us in the Ravage, otherwise we just win the fight no matter what. And so this Ag Scepter from Centaur, not obviously an uncommon item on Centaur, but it's not one we see every single game. Just goes really well with this Satanic from PL. It's like, we're going to survive the Ravage, and then we're going to man the hell up on you. Like, that's the whole idea behind both of their builds. Queen of Pain, obviously, with the BKB, going the damage build with the Orchid and the Maelstrom, and actually queuing up an AC. So they are looking to make one final stand from NIP.
Yeah, and they're going to look for that smoke wraparound, try and get onto the supports first. The Grimstruck, the Phoenix, these are the heroes that'll be easier kills, and they can have such a big impact on these fights. But Na'Vi, they saw them plan an Observer. The Blink Hoofstop is still going to catch 2. The Soulbind there as well. Nice Ravage, but where's the follow-up? The arrow going to come in, catches out the Phoenix. They managed to burst the Phoenix here. Who's next? Tanner just charging on forward with the BKB. Finds Ilias in the trees. Grimstruck in some trouble here. The Astral Step through. They're going to bring him down, so that's a nice start. They've taken out the 2 supports. Dahak going to now take out the Queen of Pain. They're dealing with the cause now, but there's still a big bad PL. Have they got the answers to him? He's got an Aegis. The arrow going to catch him out of the Yule Scepter. Buyback from the Queen of Pain. They want to try and kill the PL. They get him once. They've got to do it a second time now.
Buyback from Quab.
Have they got the answers for him? Crystallize immediately. Doppelganger to the high ground. Then he turns to fight. He wants to go on Tanner. PL still very healthy. They've got to find the real PL, and I believe they have an idea of where he is with that Satanic being popped, but now it's going to be wearing off to Huck. He's in the front lines here.
Build.
He's got the reincarnation, though. He's going to be coming back to life fairly soon. Crystallize still healing with the Satanic, still healthy. Magical's reappeared, though, and he's going to BKB. He's going to help bring down one, and it looks like Na'Vi are turning this fight with the PL still alive. It's a two-man show, the PL Queen of Pain show. They take out Mirana and Magical with a timely buyback, understanding NIP without ultimates weren't going to be able to deal with that PL.
I'm pretty sure it came from Crystallize, that communication. Him saying, I'm strong as hell, like, just buy back. Let's wreck these guys. His build is all about manning up, the Satanic and MKB, and that's why you go the Satanic against the Radiants as opposed to the Heart, because over the course of that fight, there's just no way for PL, if he doesn't have the Satanic, to stand his ground. Otherwise, his illusion, if PL's illusions are low health, then they just die easier and easier. It's like this compounding. As long as PL is full health, there's really no way to kill the real one. There's actually just no way. So the Satanic really proving its usefulness there. Going for a full Abyssal, I think he might even have it. Let's see.
Yeah, he does.
He does. Wow, that's scary as all hell. 26,000 net worth now.
About to hit level 25 as well.
Oh, he almost kills the courier.
Oh, he saw it flying in. That's why I was going for it. Crystallize. Doesn't have buyback here after buying his
double Abyssal?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Perfectly played with the Soulbind. He will manage to focus down the Void Spur. It's going to immediately buy back. They want to get Blizzy with the BKB Queen of Pain. They'll succeed in doing so. Peter, he's on the cliff. He's been learning a little too many tricks from Arteezy, and he's just watching his teammates die. The Sonic Wave is going to catch Wraith King on the respawn, and yeah, Peter did manage to TP off the cliff as
Peter.
NIP. Not looking too pretty for them. Quap also hits level 25, gets that Scream of Pain Fear.
That's huge. Big talent there. Don't know if it's going to change much because they're... Oh!
Blink, Ravage on 4, Arrow follow-up. They catch the Queen of Pain. That's going to be a dieback from the Queen of Pain if they can't keep her alive. Phoenix does not have an egg here, but yeah, they turn it around for now. The Queen of Pain, here a cheese being nom-nom-nommed on, and that's got to be GG as NIP are defeated in Game 1. Na'Vi, they were patient this game, and it paid off.
Yeah, the thing is, if you have a Centaur X going, you have 66% extra health. So not only that, but the